WRCR, good morning.
Good morning, it's Tina Traster.
Hello, Tina Traster of the Rockland County Business Journal.
You got it.
I know.
You get a
I
lolly.
get it right every week, you know that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Good morning to all.
Yeah. So what's going on in that pub? I don't like to say in the pages of, because it's strictly internet, but within the confines, whatever they are, of that publication.
Yeah, well, it is pages. They're just online. So we have a good piece. We did a one-on-one sit-down with Jeremy Schulman, who is stepping into the shoes of Director of Economic Development and Tourism. And so we do a one-on-one chat with him, and we get to hear some of his thoughts. And speaking of economic development, so I was on a biking trip yesterday. I was down in Hunterdon County in New Jersey, beautiful part of New Jersey. And I saw something down there that I thought was such a great concept. And I thought this could really work here in Rockland, too. It's called Restaurant Village, and it's like a collection of, I guess, older buildings set in a beautiful rural setting at the foot of a mountain, Schooley Mountain. And there are four restaurants. There's a pub and brewery. There was a Latin cafe. There was a Japanese cafe, and then there was a tavern. And it was all set up in such a way that it was so pleasing, you know, with indoor, outdoor space, and the way the restaurants were all situated, you know, near each other, but each one felt like a separate entity. And it's not far off of a major road. And I thought, you know, it's not like a food court, you know, in a mall. It felt more like I had landed somewhere where I was on vacation. And here in Rockland County, we're always talking about what we can do to boost tourism. You know, it's a little bit like, I guess, a little bit like the Garnerville Arts Center in that you have a collection of things. But this was so, you know, well drawn and defined, and it was just so tempting and so attractive as a concept. A group of, you know, and here's the other thing I would say, is that none of these restaurants, I don't believe, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think they're chains, or at least they're not highly, you know, recognizable, you know, restaurants that we would see like along anywhere. So it had a very sweet and specific character. I think that kind of concept here in Rockland would be awesome. What do you think?
I don't know. The chains seem to be ruling the roost these days. There are independent. Every Monday we have a paid segment just before you come on at 8:45 with Marcello of Marcello's Ristorante. Mm-hmm. I guess there's room for everything and everybody if it's promoted right, no matter what the business is.
Well, I think that, you know, you're more likely to attract tourism or tourists to something that's unique. I mean, no tourist is going to come to Rockland County to eat in Chipotle, right? But if there's a concept where you have this indoor-outdoor space and it's beautifully landscaped, and let's just say it's by a river or it's by a stream or a lake or a, you know, it was the setting also. You know, I mean, I hope these restaurants, they probably do have good food. But I just thought it was something, excuse me, that, oh my God, excuse me, that Rockland could definitely do. I mean, we have many beautiful settings throughout our towns and villages. And so anyway, so Jeremy Schulman, if you're listening, go down to Long Valley, New Jersey, and take a look at Restaurant Village.
Do I have this on?
I have
Yes.
a call for you. Would you take a call?
Of course.
All right. Hi. You're on with Tina. Good morning.
Hey, Tina, I love your idea. I think they should, you know, do something like an Epcot around the world in Rockland County. You know, have specialized restaurants, you know, offering a different flavor of each continent, whatever, and, you know, just have that in an area where the decor, the landscaping is reflective of that country or whatever, as well as the dining experience, the music, and I think a lot of towns, like Pearl River has a strip of eating, and Congress, I live in Congress, we got Restaurant X, Sangria's, the old place by the train tracks over there, and we're known for our restaurants, but I think you're totally right to, that Nyack hotel is floundering, and what we need to really do is draw people to Rockland, like for stuff like that, and eating, is what people like to do, eat, drink, and be merry, and I think you're absolutely right, and you need creative thinkers and people who can think outside the box to get this done, like I said, Epcot is such a great experience confined in a relatively small area. If you think about it, you're traveling the world and enjoying delicacies, and it's just such a great experience. I think you really brought up a valuable thing. Maybe the mall might consider doing that if they get the expansion, and create an environment. Although it's indoors, they obviously have the facility and the unused space that they can create an environment where you feel like you're traveling the world. And, weather excluded, you can always go and enjoy yourself because, obviously the elements are critical for outdoor eating and whatnot. But I think you have a great idea, and hopefully someone out there is listening that can...
Me too. Me too.
Get it going.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for that feedback. Yeah, and one of these restaurants is a brewery, and that in and of itself has become such a magnet. But if you set up a concept like this, the brewery, it plays off of each other. So, okay, you might attract people because it's a brewery, but then people learn, oh, well, look at that. There's like a Latin cafe and a tavern, and then they come back. And not only that, but when you have a concept like that, you have the potential to stimulate other kinds of complementary things that people travel for, like the gentleman was just saying. So, yeah, let's hope someone's out there listening.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that can be done here in Rockland, I guess, but everybody has to be of a mind and.
Well, we have so much. We have mountains. We have rivers. River. We have lakes. We have 30% of this county is actually green. I mean, we are a county that when I'm in these tourism sessions and meetings or around people in the tourism business, the most obvious thing to the starter is that we have our major asset in this county is our physical beauty. That's the one thing we actually have over Westchester. Northern Westchester, becomes very, very pretty. But we have a county that really from top to bottom and side to side is actually quite beautiful, and there are large parcels of land. But we need people to think like this. We need people to look at these concepts and see them outside of our county and recreate them. So let's hope. It's a great idea. So anybody who's in a position to, develop such a thing or jumpstart such a thing, take a trip down to Long Valley, New Jersey.
Do they have many eateries in Woodbury Common? Because it's such a diverse place in terms of shopping and stores and things.
Yeah. And then, like a restaurant village, like I was saying, it can stimulate, boutiques and mom and pops and also another element that could be added to this. And I know that the RCC Culinary Center had talked about this, but I don't know if they've ever really gotten their act together on this. But they were going to do, in the front section there on Broadway, they were going to do like a Taste of New York. They were going to have New York products to sell down in a boutique setting. And in fact, they have that somewhere along the Thruway, a Taste of New York. So that's the sort of thing. If you had a collection of restaurants like this, you could add a boutique element. You could add a retail element, where you also have the things that we make here in New York, cider, maple syrup, apple things, cheeses, and wines. There are so many New York products that we could showcase. Again, another tourist draw, another reason, for people to stop and say, well, that's unique. I can only find that here, as opposed to Chipotle. So,
Can I burst the bubble for a second? For
No.
just quick, for
No,
a
you
second,
may not.
Just to play devil's advocate for a second.
You know what? No, you may not.
No, well, it's my show, and I'm going to burst this little bubble in a second. Just to play devil's advocate for a moment, where are we going to find all these people who are going to be spending all this money at all these restaurants and all these wineries and all these things that they have, and that other towns around us aren't already trying to do also?
Well, I would say the answer to that question is ask Industrial Arts Brewery. I mean, they put something in Rockland at the Garnerville Arts Center that, is exactly what is, part of the zeitgeist right now, the sort of thing that people want, the sort of thing that people view as a destination. And their business has exploded.
But okay, so let me ask you this question, though. Do you not think that they took some business from other people around them? Or do you think that they brought in completely unique restaurant goers?
Okay, I'm guessing that you're definitely a capitalist and that you would not have a problem with bringing something,
I'm not saying I have a problem with it. I'm throwing out the devil's advocate here.
I think, and that was my point that I was trying to make. If you create a restaurant village and you stimulate, tourism here in this county, and you stimulate just a new concept and a new reason to go out to eat in a way that's refreshing, you're stimulating, whatever is potentially near there. So, for example, maybe then somebody thinks at some point, well, you know what, this is getting interesting. Maybe I'll open up a small B&B, or maybe I'll open, the local gas stations will benefit, or maybe there'll be other complimentary, retail, mom and pop that spans out. I mean, I just think that what I'm saying, I think, is actually what you really are thinking, which is instead of more of the same. I mean, how many more fast food places can we put in and not actually draw from the base of where people already?
Yeah, but you're ignoring one thing, and that's the average income level. And I know we have a lot of affluent people in the county, but more and more people are struggling here all the time, and they're going to go to a chain store, a Chipotle, whatever the hell you call that.
If they go at all.
Only because of the price. And I know this for a fact. We hardly ever go out to dine. When they started the shops at Nanuet, it was the word I kept hearing was upscale. Going to be an upscale. Everybody was really happy. This affluent setting will attract affluent people. Well, you've said yourself there are a lot of these shops and stuff that are struggling right now. So you got to think about that element of it too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the restaurants. I mean, It's not. I'm not suggesting that it has to be the Four Seasons. I mean, I think that you could have a mixture of restaurants that have a unique feeling to them, without them being inaccessible to the average wallet. But I also think that if you want to draw people, like Orange County, okay, they've been doing a really good job at drawing people probably from this county who are looking for something different to do, like Angry Orchards, the cidery. Places, Bloomingdale Farm.
You know what? We have to leave only because we have another show coming on. But this is an interesting conversation, and maybe we can continue it next Monday.
Okay, that sounds.
Yeah, all right.
Have a great week.
Let me just say that Rockland Business. If you want to access the Rockland Business Journal, you go to RC, right?
Sorry. Oh my goodness.
Yes,
RC Biz Journal.
Yeah, rcbizjournal.com.
All right. Thank you.